So in today's video we're going to take a look at one of my favorite ways to play the guitar and something that I post quite often here on the channel, and that is the art of playing chord melody guitar. Now, chord melody guitar is quite simply playing the chords and the melody of a song at the same time, so a lot of my jazz standard videos on here are me playing in such a style. So if we took a tune like, say, All the Things You Are, and I played it like this, I'm playing the melody of the song, which is, and I'm also playing the chords underneath it at the same time. And I'm going to look at how I go about crafting some of these arrangements and how you can start doing it. So the first step to starting out with a chord melody is you want to pick your tune, obviously. And if you're just starting out with playing in this kind of style, I would strongly recommend that you choose something that has a little bit more mellow of a melody, something that has a couple whole notes, not too many crazy eighth note sections, because of course while you can make beautiful chord melody arrangements of some bebop compositions and stuff like that, it's significantly harder when your melody's chock full of eighth notes when you're starting out. So I would pick a tune like All the Things You Are, which is what we're going to use as our example today. And then once you have your tune, I think it's really important that you learn the melody and you learn the chords separately before you try to put them together. So I want to make sure that I know and understand all the notes in the melody of All the Things You Are, so on and so forth. And I also want to make sure that I know a couple different ways to comp through it. And if you aren't familiar with that term comp, it's short for accompany, and it basically means you're playing the chords to support the melody or the soloist. So not only do I want to be able to play the melody, I also want to know that it's F minor 7, B flat minor 7, E flat 7, A flat major 7, D flat major 7, G 7, C major 7, and then that falls to C minor 7, so on and so forth. So you have to learn the basics of the tune before you get on to doing the actual chord melody, and it's really, really important you do so because it will actually help you come up with the chord melody faster. Sometimes my students want to just, plow right into doing chord melody, and while I totally get it, what ends up happening is you don't really know the tune if you just go into that. You might just know the arrangement that you end up coming up with, which again, maybe isn't the worst thing in the world, but I would argue if you're going to spend the hours rehearsing and coming up with an arrangement, you might as well know 100% what's going on the whole time. So the principles of a chord melody, I'll show you a couple different ways that you can kind of get your feet wet and start doing this with All the Things You Are. So again, my melody is A flat, which I'm playing at the 9th fret of the B string. Then I play D flat on the 9th fret of the E string. Goes down to G on the 8th fret, and then it goes to C on the 8th fret of the E string. Then it goes down to F, to B, which is the 7th fret of my E string, and then it goes down to it goes down to E on the 5th fret. So one more time, that's You are the promised kiss of springtime that makes the lonely winter seem long. So that's my melody, and then my chords that are happening underneath this are for a bar each F minor 7, and I'm just playing a simple drop 2 voicing there. Then I get B flat minor 7, sorry. Then E flat 7 for a bar. Then A flat major 7 for a bar. D flat major 7 for a bar, G7 for a bar, I'm playing a G13 there, and then C major 7 or C major 6/9, however you want to voice it. But now, okay, one easier way to kind of get into this is to actually play the melody and try to comp a very tiny bit for yourself. So that might sound something like this. I was just playing the melody, and And then putting these short little comps in between, and some bits, like especially when it's the makes the lonely the promise kiss of springtime, that bit you might have to find a way to weave in some chords underneath it. But again, that can be a really, really nice way to get into doing this, because rather than moving your hand and block chords harmonizing everything while you go, you're just playing. You're just kind of finding space where you can interject those chords. Now, the next kind of approach would be playing things really, really big and long, where you're playing the top note is the melody. The top note of every chord is the melody. And this is probably the most common way people would play chord melody. But again, I always start with that first example because not every single melody note needs to have a chord fully under it. But so that might sound like this, where I need A flat on top of an F minor 7 chord. So this, drop 2, I have 8, 10, 8, 9. Then maybe I play this B flat minor 7. This is a drop 2 again. This is now 8, 10, 9, 9 on my D, G, B, and E strings. So I'm going U, R, now here I'm playing an E flat 7, which is 6, 8, 6, 8 on my middle 4 strings, A through B. And then there I went to an A flat major 7 with C in the melody, and that was 6, 8, 8, 8. So then if I want, I can go, I play the melody note G, then I'm playing this D flat major 7, which is 4, 6, 5, 6. I'm playing the B there, which if I wanted to harmonize that with a G7 chord, I might grab this, just root position drop 2, so that is 5, 7, 6, 7. And then that slides down to a C major 7, which is basically the same voicing as my D flat major 7, just down 1 fret lower. So that again might sound like this. I'll play it a little bit quicker, but this is where I'm harmonizing every single melody note pretty much with a chord. Then, the next kind of step, because while that's beautiful and I'm fully playing the chords, another thing that you can think about is what if you played harmonized notes and chords while also trying to create some rhythmic drive to it, rather than just holding for a year on each of these chords. What if I went... I got a little fancy there at the end, but when you add some kind of rhythmic interest to it, it can really make it pop. And again, the basic fundamentals of this is when I'm harmonizing these, if you couldn't follow those chords, the basic rule is you just want the melody note to be the top note of whatever chord voicing you're using, so that it clearly pops out as the melody. And that is the basic principle of chord melody. And then again, you can do this while kind of playing the melody. And comping for yourself. You can do it where absolutely everything is harmonized, or you can do a kind of mixture of the two. And that's kind of just a brief introduction to this concept. I'm going to do another video, a part 2 if you will, where I show you some more kind of advanced concepts and how to kind of really actually stretch these out into unique arrangements. But I really hope you found this useful. If you did, I'd really appreciate it if you could like and subscribe. It truly helps me out more than you know. If you want to take a guitar lesson with me, there's a link to that down in the description. I'd love to work with you on chord melody or whatever else is troubling you on the guitar. I also have a link down there to purchase my book, Scales and Arpeggios for the Modern Guitarist, or my course on triads if you want to check those out. There's also a link down there to my Patreon page if you want to support me in this channel, putting out free educational content for you all. And last but not least, I wish you a wonderful day. I've got new videos coming out every week. I hope I'll see you in the next one. And until I do, I hope you have a great day and have some fun playing the guitar. Thanks.